Dating has changed tremendously throughout the years. From the era of courtly love to the age of Tinder, our way of finding a suitable partner has evolved alongside technology. A new nationwide survey that is being performed by Cigna, a global health service company, states that America, specifically people who are a part of Gen Z, are a part of a loneliness epidemic. Researchers surveyed more than 20,000 adults aged 18 and older. The studies show that Gen Z, individuals born between... This is really boring, isn't it? Let's try something different. So we're gonna take 3 Zoomers because, oh my god, it's cool as hell, I'm so depressed. And 3 Boomers. We're gonna ask them questions about love and relationships. That's all you really need to know. Now, start the interviews. We'll be starting these interviews off with the Boomers, the very first of which is Miss Warshower, resident 11th grade English teacher at Queens Grant High School.
Jackson, good morning. Yes, still good morning. I understand you have some questions for me.
Whoa, that's not how this happened. I started. How's it going?
Slowly.
That hurt my feelings. All right, so you know what this is about, right?
No, I really don't.
So basically, our film class over there.
Oh yeah, I'm aware of that. Yes.
Yeah. We're filming a documentary on the different views of love between generations. What is the definition of love?
I think it is having warm feelings towards someone, feeling like you share some sort of affinity for each other. And I guess ultimately I think that love is subconsciously putting the needs of that person before your own in anything and everything you do. Most of the time.
All right. Do you think everyone should try to find love? Do you think everyone deserves love?
Well, those are 2 really different questions. Do I think everyone should find love? My experience with it has been that it just kind of sneaks up on you. I think you can certainly be open to it.
Sometimes it's unexpected.
Exactly. And sometimes it's even, you think you might have a type and end up with someone
who
counter.
Doesn't fit that at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I absolutely think every single person deserves love. And I think the cruelest thing you can do to someone is to deny them that right.
Yeah. So, do you have an idea of, what love looks like for us? How it looks today with media and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, you guys are a little bit younger than my children. And I assume that we're talking about a pretty broad capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So I think your definition of love is much more fluid.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about
good or bad,
Good.
All right.
I mean, I think that as we move into, as we are...
Because, some people might say, our generation is so sexualized with, porn and all these videos of women trying to sexualize their bodies and...
I would imagine we all fall prey to media. I look at other movie stars who are in their early 50s and, and then I think about myself and how I regard myself and I'm like, ugh, but, if I had a personal trainer or a chef...
Yeah, if you had money.
A body consultant, hopefully I would look that way as well. But I actually think that in terms of you guys now, I think that you might be onto something. And I want to be careful.
How do you mean?
Well, I'm going to explain, but I want to be careful and I hope that someone would hear me all the way through before saying, oh my God, Ms. Borsheimer said we could all have sex and not have to worry about it. I do think that, for some people, having a physical relationship with someone whether it is necessarily an intimate relationship or if it's just
Pleasure.
pleasure, some people are able to set the boundaries needed to not feel some sense of attachment. And if both parties are in agreement with that and can do that, I think that to some degree it could be seen as nothing more than exercise in a way. I mean, I think, you know, our we've always had this whole fascination or over I can't even think of the word I'm trying, but about nudity. I mean, that you know, like I say, if you're naked, you're taking a shower. If you're naked, you're up to something. And
So,
really, there's no difference between those two. So I think if you guys, and it seems like you make the distinction between being in love with someone, and I don't hear a lot of talk about those kind of relationships, which makes me happy, because I think that, I mean, what I always tell my seniors is that there's a big world out there, and I'm not saying go out there and, you know, engage in all kinds of debauchery, but I just think that you make a better partner, you're a better person yourself if you have lived a little bit and gotten to know different kinds of people. So again, I think it's all about your tolerance for experience and keeping yourself safe.
all right. So that kind of leads into the next question, which is, do you think that Zoomers are more selective with finding partners than previous generations? Because, you know, you hear like students talking about, oh, she got a big booty and stuff like that. Like, was there talk like that when you were?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the female form and has always been, and I mean, it was designed to be somewhat erogenous and to exhibit certain characteristics that would lead one to think that, you know, would be a good childbearing woman. You know, I'm not sure that monogamy was originally in the plan, but yeah, I mean, I think, you know, and I think just reading Great Gatsby this morning, you know, males and females sort of giggling about the physical description of Tom Buchanan. So I think, yeah, I mean, we're visual for the most part people, and have in our minds our own version of what's attractive, and it's hard to not notice things like that about people. I don't know.
But do you think we're more selective?
Just thinking about my children who are senior and junior in college, I mean, they have lots of friends. They hang around with big groups of people. But to my knowledge, neither of them have really dated anybody. So I think it's just almost a different social definition. I mean, when I was in high school, if you didn't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you know, you were left out of the mix, and it wasn't necessarily, I mean, it was purely a social construct, because I grew up in a small town and you had to have somebody to ride around in the car with, and, you know, groups of girls or groups of guys, actually groups of guys could do it and nothing would be thought about, but groups of girls who did that were seen as desperate and, you know, that kind of thing. So I mean, we all had boyfriends, and, you know, Friday nights we'd go to the football game and, you know, meet at Pizza Hut afterward and things like that. So, I mean, we didn't really date, but you just kind of hung out with your boyfriend. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Okay.
It actually answers all of my questions. So, appreciate that.
Well, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to spout my version of the truth about love.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you. I appreciate
Did I
it.
mention I'm divorced? But very happily remarried. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't despair. If you don't get it right the first time, try again.